May 17th, 10:08 a.m. District Court. Defendant Lobby number 6. 3. What? Keeps changing. What the hell? Just so you know, I'm not going to take sides. Message received, loud and clear. Good, because I don't like this one bit. You and Daddy should be on the same team. Sorry, Choosy. Ah, she's really mad.
I'm sorry too, little lady. This is all my fault.
I'm just worried things will never be the same between Daddy and Apollo. If they go through with this.
Is that all? Well, I wouldn't worry about that. That's the way it is with us men. We may fight, but we don't burn bridges.
Really?
Sure. 1 minute we're trading blows, and the next we're having drinks together. We're simple creatures at heart. Ha! Ha 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 ha!
I sure hope you're right. Sorry I'm late, Apollo. Athena, there you are. What happened with you and Mr. Wright yesterday? Oh, about that. I ended up going to the wrong airport. I was waiting there thinking his flight was really late, and before I knew it, I dozed off. By the time I woke up, it was already dark. I figured something like that had happened. Being late and dozing off are the two things you do best. Guilty as charged. So then, I take it you have no idea what today's case is about? Not a clue. Sorry. What is today's case about, if I might ask? Another locked room mystery? A suspect with a flimsy alibi? Ooh, or a dying message? Sorry. Strike 3, you're out. It's a civil case. A civil case? You act like I'm speaking Swahili here. It's just the Right Anything Agency specializes in criminal law, or so I thought. In civil cases, there are no prosecutors, right? Instead, both parties retain an attorney. Right. And the other attorney is someone you know very well. Really? Who?
The trial will begin shortly. Please proceed to the courtroom at once.
Okay, let's do this. Apollo, wait. Who's the other attorney? And where is Mr. Wright? No time to explain. Let's go. Okay. Right behind you. May 17th, 10:30 a.m., District Court, courtroom number 6.
Court is now in session. Is this some sort of practice session? A mock trial, perhaps?
No, it's not, Your Honor. It's the real deal, Your Honor.
So then you two have had a falling out. I would have you using my courtroom for that, you know.
It's nothing like that, Your Honor. Exactly. It just so happens that we have different clients in this case.
I see. Well, here's to hoping this has no adverse effect on your working relationship.
You can say that again. I had no idea we'd be going up against the boss today. You sure this is a good idea, Apollo? What? Do you want to switch sides? Honestly, I'd rather be anywhere but here right now. Well, at least she is here. I'm gonna need her help. Mr. Justice. Yes? Don't expect me to pull any punches just because you're the opposing lawyer. As I said, the kid gloves are off. And come what may, they'll stay off. Same here, Mr. Wright. If it's a fight you want, it's a fight you'll get. I said if it's a fight you want, it's a fight you'll get. Hello? Yeesh, you guys are really chomping at the bits, aren't you?
I don't mind a good fight between co-workers. Just keep the civil case civil. Now then, if the plaintiff would take the stand, we may begin. Right, left, halt.
No Noble Judge, members of the gallery, good day to you. I am Paul Atishon. This is but the start of my epic campaign, and you all have the honor of witnessing it. I believe the youth of this country are our very future. Too long have they been looked down on and given the cold shoulder. So to them I say, ask not what you can do for your country, ask what you can do for me.
Mr. Atishon, what is that crazy contraption you're riding in?
Hehehe, it's my custom-made election-winning campaign mobile. Beautiful, isn't it?
You're at a witness stand, not a campaign podium, so come out of there this instant. Alright, now, with the plaintiff's attorney, Mr. Wright, please explain the complaint filed against the defendant.
Mr. Atishon's complaint against the defendant is simple. The defendant, one Dirk Sadmati, stole my client's family heirloom, the crystal of Amy Faye. Mr. Atishon merely seeks his return. This wouldn't have happened if that archaeologist hadn't kicked the bucket.
I see. Well, Mr. Justice, let's have your opening statement, if you would.
The defense asserts the item in question is the Founder's Orb, a sacred relic from Grain.
Go on.
It seems someone asked an archaeologist, Dr. Archie Buff, to study the orb. Dr. Buff determined that it was a Karainese national treasure known as the Founder's Orb. The very orb that was stolen from a treasure room in Karain several weeks ago.
Why, yes, I saw a news report about that. The theft of a Karainese national treasure caused quite an uproar in the kingdom.
Well, we believe that it was not, in fact, a theft in the judicial sense, but rather that it was spirited out of Karain by someone for Dr. Buff to study.
You don't say. And?
Around that time, an acquaintance of the defendant learned of Dr. Buff. He made contact with the doctor, who agreed to hand over the orb. Apparently, the doctor wanted nothing to do with it once he had learned it had been stolen.
Seems you even have a transfer agreement between both parties.
Mr. Sadmati also agreed to return the Founder's Orb to the Kingdom of Karain, once the doctor verified it was the real thing.
I see. So, this dispute centers on whether the item in question is the Founder's Orb or the crystal of Amy Faye. That, in turn, will determine the object's rightful owner.
I better bring my A-game. Going up against Mr. Wright won't be a walk in the park.
Come to think of it, the name Dirk Sadmati sounds awfully familiar. But I can't recall where I've heard it.
Oh, it's probably your imagination, Your Honor. He's just a tourist, after all.
My imagination, you say?
Are you sure about this, Apollo? He's the wanted criminal in Karain, isn't he? In Karain, yeah. Here, he's just a tourist.
Very well, let's begin the proceedings. Bailiff, would you bring in the first witness?
Emma? Show some manners. We're in court. I know, it's just... this is a civil trial, so I was surprised to see a detective take the stand. I had her do some digging on Dr. Buff. What for? You disappoint me, Apollo. First, you know I'm not just a detective. I'm a forensic scientist. Do try to remember that. Second, you almost write an apology. After all he's done for you, you have some nerve. First, I'm sorry. And second, I'm really just trying to do my job. You'll never get anywhere with that attitude. Take some advice from someone who's been there. Why do I feel like I'm on trial here?
Detective Sky, your testimony, if you please.
So she's been doing some digging, huh? Alright, let's see what she has found. Police have had their eyes on Dr. Buff for some time, and just today, a number of stolen artifacts were discovered in his study. Oh. Among them were a priceless urn and a statue that was stolen from the Fae clan. It seemed the doctor would do anything to study artifacts, including steal them. As for the relic at the center of this dispute, he likely stole it from the Atishon residence. The doctor is a thief! Why am I just hearing about this now? Well, cat burglar isn't something he had put on his resume. He was more careful than that. But the fact is, he was a classic treasure hunter. A treasure hunter, eh? Like people who have thrilling adventures in exotic places, risking life and limb for glory. I thought Dr. Buff was the star of his own hit movie series, Athena. Out of respect for the dead, I will say that Dr. Buff wasn't doing it to get rich. Apparently, he only wanted to borrow artifacts to study them. He would then return them as soon as his research was finished. According to the doctor's child, he would even repair or restore some of the artifacts he stole before returning them. He believed he was honoring the dead by discovering their history through artifacts. But whatever lofty ideals he held, it makes no difference. Larceny is larceny.
Yes. He certainly sounds no different from a regular thief to me.
So, let's say for a moment that the doctor really did moonlight in stealing artifacts. Might he not have stolen the Founder's orb in Korean and brought it back here himself?
Nope. There's no record of him traveling overseas over the past few years. Plus, he couldn't very well leave his reclusive child at home all alone. This really must be the crystal of Amy Faye. Yes, he stole it from the Atishon residence, probably so he could study it.
This is the left hook I did not need.
I bet you never saw that coming, Apollo.
Yeah, when Mr. Wright said the kid gloves were off, he wasn't kidding.
Mr. Justice, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
Interesting. I'm wondering how he managed to steal artifacts from the people he's been living with, his neighbors, without them realizing. Are none of them allowed to go inside? I mean, there's a big window door. There's a big glass door that they could see through, right? Surely him stealing artifacts from his neighbors is not going to go unnoticed, right? Weird. The police have had their eyes on Dr. Buff for some time. How exactly did Dr. Buff arouse the suspicion of the police anyway? Chalk it up to good old-fashioned sleuthing. After investigating countless artifact thefts over the past few years, the police finally zeroed in on him, and the doctor became their prime suspect.
A number of those artifact thefts occurred in Korean Village too, if I might add.
And they started right around the time the doctor moved there. But he was never arrested. I take it there was nothing concrete linking him to a crime? Nope, which is why we were never able to get a search warrant in the first place. It's hard to arrest artifact thieves unless you catch them red-handed. Still, the police had him under constant surveillance. And just today, a number of stolen artifacts were discovered in his study. Are you sure these allegedly stolen artifacts are the real deal? They're not fakes, that's for sure. Take the urn, for example. Apparently, it's an extremely intricate work of art. Its design, cracks, and other features would be impossible to replicate perfectly.
Actually, I've had a few run-ins with that urn myself, so I was shocked to see it there in the doctor's study. I can say without a doubt that urn was stolen from the fake land.
I see.
Detective Sky, please continue with the testimony if you would.
Among them were a priceless urn and a statue that were stolen from the fake land. Were any other stolen artifacts found besides those belonging to the Fays? Yes, for instance... Remember the large relief on the wall? It was chiseled out of some ancient ruins in the Kingdom of Crane several years ago. Chiseled out? Didn't that damage it? Well, he did restore the parts that were so faded you could barely see them anymore. It seems he intended to return it someday, so one could say his intentions were good. But good intentions are no get-out-of-jail-free card. That's a fact.
If I might add, with respect for the deceased, the quality of the restoration was apparently exceptional. It seems the doctor invested a lot of money in hiring an extremely talented specialist.
Sounds like a good man.
Took a wrong turn somewhere.
I guess Sarge takes after him in that way. Any further questions? If not... Seems the Doctor would do anything to study artifacts, including steal them. These alleged thefts have been going on for some time. At least 5 years, as far as we can tell. All the recent theft have been local, but before moving to Korean Village, he had been stealing from ruins around the world. Dr. Buff was an international criminal. This data lends itself to but one conclusion. Dr. Buff was a thief. As for the relic at the center of this dispute, he likely stole it from the Atishon residence. You claim he stole a family heirloom from the Atishon residence. But claiming something doesn't make it true. Unfortunately, it is true. How can he be so sure? A police report was filed concerning the theft 1 year ago, in fact.
What? A whole year ago?
August 25th of last year, to be exact. The report states, and I quote, "The crystal of Amy Faye was discovered to be missing from the Atishon storehouse at 10 a.m. The storehouse lock had been picked." Signed, Paul Atishon, Wimperson.
Well, a year-old report certainly lends the plaintiff's claim credence. The Doctor really could have stolen the crystal of Amy Faye. Not only that, Your Honor, but the Founder's Orb was only found to be missing several weeks ago. That is nearly a year after the crystal theft was reported. Therefore, I believe we must consider the orb and the crystal to be two separate items. Paul Atishon Wimperson. Not the most awe-inspiring tail end, is it? I see why he cut it.
Not that he inspires confidence without it. Still, I'd probably do the same in his shoes.
A police report was filed about the crystal's theft a year ago, but the theft of the Founder's Orb was only reported a few weeks ago. So the crystal's police report was filed way before the orb was found missing. That suggests the stolen relic is the crystal of Amy Faye, as Mr. Atishon Wimperson asserts. I doubt the police report is a fake. After all, Emma is the one who submitted it as evidence.
Still, I feel like something we learned in that police report is important somehow.
His full name? Atishon Wimperson. Do we know another Wimperson somewhere?
Not yet.
Huh. Oh, what? Police have had their eyes on Dr. Buff for some time. Just stay.
Hold it! This police report may say the crystal of Amy Faye, but how do you know it's this relic right here?
Because Mr. Atishon has stated as much.
Well, I'm not buying it.
Paulo, I was thinking, the plaintiff's legal name is pretty distinctive. Paul Atishon Wimperson. Do we have any evidence related to his initials or his name?
We just might. Might even point out a flaw in something Emma said.
You think your logic's faulty?
Yeah, if the Doctor stole the relic from Mr. Atishon Wimperson, there is one thing the Doctor did that doesn't make any sense. Especially if Paul Atishon Wimperson was desperately searching for his stolen relic. Okay, time to go over the evidence again.
The police report was filed about the crystal theft a year ago. Paul Atishon Wimperson. P.A.W. Research notes? No. Anything with P.A.W. on it? P.A.W. Paul 711. I deciphered the patterns, but it's correct of the riddle. Dr. Buff, how is your risk? Okay. So he gave it to him willingly. Right. Apparently. So, the email?
Objection!
The Doctor stole the relic from the plaintiff?
Are you sure? Because that statement doesn't agree with a certain piece of evidence.
What do you mean?
Take a look at this.
What about it?
This contains an email from the doctor's computer.
Email? In that little piece of plastic? I'm afraid I don't understand.
Oh, this stick here can store all sorts of computer data.
I still don't get it.
Here, just look at this. Apparently, the doctor was reporting his research findings to a certain individual. Now, take a look at this. It's the police report Detective Sky presented to this court. You can see the plaintiff's legal name on it. Paul Atishon Wimperson.
I can see why it dropped Wimperson from his name, but that's hardly breaking news.
Look closer, Your Honor.
His initials!
Right. The plaintiff's full legal name is Paul Atishon Wimperson. Now, consider this. The email's recipient address starts with 3 letters.
Paul? Oh! Don't tell me.
Oh, but I will anyway. The individual who hired the doctor to study the disputed item is none other than Paul Atishon Wimperson.
Wait, then that means...
Exactly. He wouldn't have asked the man who stole his family heirloom to study it. Therefore, how could this possibly be the crystal of Amy Faye?
Ah! We never checked the doctor's emails. We couldn't even figure out the password to his computer.
The plaintiff willingly left the orb in the doctor's care so he could study it, at the behest of his benefactor.
Wait, and what about the police report? I have all the details of the theft right here.
It's probably for another relic, the real crystal of Amy Faye. He's just using the report as a way to claim that our orb is actually a stolen crystal.
And how are you so certain that Paul refers to my client's initials? Maybe the email's recipient was a dog lover.
Perhaps. So let's get to know your client a little better, shall we? Mr. Paul Atishon Wimperson?
I suppose shutting down detectives is all part of a politician's job.
Answer me this, Mr. Atishon Wimperson. What is...
711? July 11th?
What is your birthday?
My birthday? It's July 11th, but what's it to you? Oh, I see. You can address birthday gifts to my office. But full disclosure, I only accept gifts valued at $1,000 or more. Why has everyone gone silent?
How can anyone be that self-centered?
Oh, right.
Politician! Did everyone hear that? He said July 11th. July 11th, or rather 711, matches the numbers in the email address. Both the name and birthday are a match. I hardly think that's a coincidence.
Wait. Why, you sneaky little...
Looks like someone finally decided to join the conversation. Would the plaintiff care to explain?
I would like to say that that is quite...
Quite what?
Quite a thing you've said.
Any other thoughts?
No further comments. I stand by my previous statement.
You can't just walk away. Even politicians have to explain themselves in a court of law.
I'm afraid I simply don't know how it happened. I can't possibly explain matters outside of my purview. Perhaps it was a mistake on the part of my secretary.
Oh, no you don't, you slippery eel. Mr. Wright, would you care to respond?
I won't argue your assertion. My client lent the treasure in question to the doctor and asked him to study it. It seems that much is a fact.
Now we're getting somewhere.
However, it has no bearing on the issue of ownership.
How so?
Mr. Atishon, I fully understand your position here. You had to hide the fact that you sent the crystal out to be studied. Your family would have been very upset if they had found out. It's a family heirloom, after all.
You've got to be kidding me.
Mr. Wright is, well, right, of course. But then, he always is. That's why he's my lawyer. The crystal is a precious Atishon family heirloom, and it has been for centuries. But Dr. Buff was so eager to study his proud heritage, I just couldn't say no. I didn't even tell my grandfather.
Objection!
But in order to win the backing of your so-called benefactor, you were going to give what you claimed to be the crystal of Amy Faye to that person. You were going to give a precious family heirloom away, just like that.
I was going to explain everything to grandfather later. Honest.
My client's grandfather is very proud of his grandson for following in his footsteps, and if refusing him would have meant dashing the dreams of his darling grandson, I doubt the kindly old man could have said no.
Well, grandchildren are meant to be spoiled. That's what grandfathers are for.
Your Honor, please. I mean, it's been the family for centuries.
My grandfather thinks highly of my talents as a politician. That's why he entrusted me with this very important name placard today. So I'm sure he would have been okay with me using the crystal as I saw fit.
Grr, Grandpa's spoiled little brat.
I think the judge is buying it, Apollo.
No surprise there. It's always going on about his grandchild, after all.
Excuse me, can I leave now, Mr. Wright? I believe my work here is done.
By all means, Detective Sky. Thank you for your assistance.
You're welcome. It's nice to testify at a civil trial once in a while. See you around.
Seems the facts have changed somewhat. Mr. Atishon Wimperson apparently lent his family heirloom to Dr. Buff. Mr. Justice, how would the defense like to proceed?
Oh, all right. Now what?
Apollo, let's hear what they know about this so-called crystal of Amy Faye. Maybe we can find some inconsistencies in their statements.
Right. Okay then, Mr. Wright. If the item in question really is an Atishon family heirloom, then let's hear all your client knows about it.
Of course. Mr. Atishon Wimperson, please tell the defense everything you know about the crystal's origin.
All right. Now then, listen and learn. This is the tale of the crystal of Amy Faye and the illustrious history of the Atishon clan. Are you ready? Our story begins back in the old country when the Atishon family reigned supreme.
Great. Story time with politician. Here we go.
My ancestor was praised as a benevolent ruler. He protected the spirit mediums, a minority back then, from the rest of the locals. Some discriminated against him, you see, while others tried to abuse their power. As thanks, Amy Faye gave the crystal she had specially made as a gift to him. I am a descendant of that great lord. As such, my political power and influence is backed by centuries of history.
Well, that devolved into a great lot of self-aggrandizing propaganda fast.
As you can see, the crystal of Amy Faye is an heirloom of the esteemed House of Atishon.
And you have proof that it has always been in the Atishon family?
I have someone who gave a statement to that effect. My client's neighbor, one Ives Shinato. Ives Shinato? Ives Shinato. Age 85, gave the following statement. The Atishons showed me the crystal back when I was but a lad.
Objection!
Can we really trust the memory of an old man?
Mr. Justice, would you care to explain that statement to the judge?
Oh, I didn't mean... what I'm trying to say is...
Never underestimate the memory of your elders. I may forget my verdicts the next day, but the memories of my past are clear as day. Therefore, I find Mr. Ives Shinato's statement to be perfectly credible.
Wow, did you see how Mr. Wright got the judge on his side? That's definitely a trick I want up my sleeve.
Sigh. You're not helping, Athena.
You may cross-examine the witness, Mr. Justice.
Looking forward to it.
My ancestor is praised as a benevolent ruler.
That object you set down there, is it something of importance to you?
It's a name placard. This one here belonged to my grandfather, Abraham Atishon. He had it custom made during his distinguished political career. It's special because it was crafted from the finest Italian plastic.
I wasn't aware the Italians were famous for their fine plastic.
You can touch it if you want.
No, I'm fine.
Very well. I'll just continue with my testimony. My ancestor was praised as a benevolent ruler, but he was also an eminent politician. He protected the spirit mediums, a minority back then, from the rest of the locals.
So I take it the relationship with the fake line was a close one?
A smooth and open line of communication with my entire electorate. That is the politician way.
Huh? Oh, sorry. I was asking about your ancestor.
Whether it's about me or my ancestor. Feel free to ask me anything you'd like. Transparency in government, that's the politician way.
More like dodgy questions. That's the politician way. Thanks. I'll be sure to ask when I have something you'll actually answer.
As I was saying, the Atishon family protected the face spirit mediums back then. Some discriminated against them, you see, while others tried to abuse their power.
Spirit mediums were targets of discrimination?
Yeah, some people even treated them like they were monsters. The transformation the mediums underwent when channeling spirits frightened them, frightened the locals, and then there were those who tried to use them.
You mean they sought to control the channeling powers of the mediums?
Discriminating against the minority is absolutely despicable. A vote for me is a vote to end discrimination. I vow to root it out wherever it may be. That is my promise to you.
He's totally ignoring your questions. It's like you're a moderator at a political debate.
Yeah, and only he cares about his talking points. As thrilling as your campaign is, can we please get back to your testimony?
As you wish. Now then, as for the crystal of Amy Faye. As thanks, Amy Faye gave the crystal she had specially made as a gift to him.
You said she had it made, so then it was made in Japan?
That's right. They say that she hired a famous craftsman to make it, and they say it's quite valuable too.
And you were going to take such a priceless family heirloom and just give it to your patron?
That's so typical of you ignorant common types. Making difficult decisions when the chips are down is what being a politician is all about.
But only when it's in service of your own political career, you mean?
The crystal is a testament to my ancestors' remarkable achievements, and furthermore, I am a descendant of that great lord.
So tell me, Mr. Atishon Wimberson, are you famous in Korean Village?
You could say that, but I find my popularity to be rather bemusing.
Bemusing?
Yeah, my campaign posters keep going missing as soon as I put them up. My avid supporters and female fans are likely taking them home to hang in their bedrooms.
I guess ignorance really is bliss.
Hee. All this only proves my fine lineage. As such, my political power and influence is backed by centuries of history.
I'm sorry, but is any of that relevant to the issue of the relic's rightful owner?
Have you never heard of kingcraft?
Kingcraft?
It's the art of ruling as a king. My father drilled it into my head from a young age, and one of its precepts states, "Ruin awaits a ruler who responds to every single issue posed by the masses."
Well, that answered my question about what he meant by king of this nation. Progress.
Paulo, who is this Amy Faye anyway?
I believe she was the founder of the Korean channeling technique. Plaintiff claims she had the crystal made for his ancestor. That would mean it was made in Japan, right? Yeah, I suppose it would.
Oh, is that it? Okay. Okay. So is the problem here that it wasn't made in basically the argument here is if it has these Mitama motifs, then that means that it's actually Koreanese, not Japanese. I guess. That's the best thing I can do right now. That's the best argument. You know what? We still got a lot of badges to spare. Let's give it a shot. Present the research notes.
Objection!
Okay.
You stated that Amy Faye had the crystal made for your ancestor. So, am I to assume it was made in Japan? That's right. The craftsmanship is unbeatable. Well, that's strange. I don't see how your so-called crystal could have been made there. What are you talking about? It's quite obvious if you take a closer look at this. Take a look at the distinctive design here. According to Dr. Buff, it's a Mitama motif dating back to the early days of the Kingdom of Crane.
The Kingdom of Crane? And you base this on...
Here, this piece of evidence, Your Honor. These are the doctor's research notes on the Founder's Orb. This is the box in which the orb was originally stored. It features the same pattern as the one found on the orb.
They do look like the same pattern.
Therefore, I assert that the disputed item must have been made in the Kingdom of Crane. Ink, my placard!
Objection!
The Crane channeling technique originated in the Kingdom of Crane, and Amy Faye is known to have traveled there to train. With that in mind, what's to say she didn't bring that pattern back with her?
Objection!
But since this is clearly a Koreanese design, not even you can deny the possibility that it was made there, in the Kingdom of Crane.
Objection!
Anything's possible to some extent. That doesn't make it true. So we can't conclude that the orb is from Crane based solely on that pattern. If it were that simple, I could just as easily say it's Japanese. There's no need for racism here.
I have to agree with Mr. Wright. The pattern alone proves nothing. But that also means there's no basis to claim the item in dispute was made in Japan either. At this rate, we're going nowhere fast.
He's right. We're just spinning our wheels here.
I wonder if we have any evidence that could break this stalemate.
Evidence that could break the stalemate.
Mitama motif.
Evidence that could break the stalemate? There doesn't seem to be anything we can use. At least, not at this point.
Well, unless we can find something, this trial won't be going anywhere.
Whew, that's much better. What's his deal?
I have a suggestion. Why don't we consider this from a different angle?
I'm listening.
What if the Defiant Dragons really were authorized to take possession of the relic?
I'm afraid I don't know where you're going with this, Mr. Wright.
Consider the orb transfer agreement, which states, I agree to hand over the Founder's Orb to the Defiant Dragons if I will come to no harm. What if, as the last part suggests, This was written under duress. That would render the agreement null and void.
What are you suggesting, Mr. Wright?
While you were on your little cave expedition, I was investigating Dr. Buff's accident. And there was something you overlooked, Mr. Justice. Namely, that his accident might have actually been murder.
What? Murder?
Here we go.
Mr. Wright, you do realize such statements are not to be made lightly. Are you suggesting the Doctor was murdered by the Defiant Dragons?
Yes, but follow me on this for a sec. The books that came tumbling down were from the archaeology shelf. However, among that mountain of books was a single volume on psychology. What's more, there was some blood on it.
And you feel this is important because...
The books that came tumbling down were from the top shelf, the archaeology books. We know this because the Doctor's books were meticulously organized by subject. Archaeology took up the entire shelf, so that psychology book is completely out of place.
Come to think of it, the shelves are arranged quite carefully.
It's also worth noting that psychology books only take up a tiny part of the bottom shelf. You might wonder why a book on psychology was found amid the pile of archaeology books, but I believe I can explain what that single out-of-place book was doing there. The Doctor was struck from behind while selecting a psychology book from the shelf.
And that's when the blood got on the book.
Precisely. And to make it look like an accident, he was buried under a mountain of archaeology books.
Objection!
Wait a second. This is all just speculation, right? Or do you have proof that it was murder?
Of course I do.
You do?
On a hunch, I had Detective Sky examine the Doctor's head wound. She found that he'd been struck by the corner of some object or another.
Wait, what?
A wound like that couldn't have resulted from a fall to the floor, you know. Do you understand what this means, Mr. Justice? The wound makes it crystal clear that Dr. Buff was murdered.
What?
Well, that was unexpected. Who would have thought we'd break out of the stalemate like this? He pulled the ladder right out from under us.
Still, if he thinks that's enough to make me back down, he's got another thing coming. Even if the cause of death was murder, what makes you think it was the Defiant Dragons? You should know better than to hurl baseless accusations.
Objection!
Did you forget who you were up against, Mr. Justice? You didn't actually think I'd come to court without witnesses and evidence, did you?
What are you talking about?
I would like to request further testimony from the plaintiff. Specifically, I would like the court to hear how he saw one of the rebels leaving the crime scene.
He saw what?
Of course he did. If you can prove it was murder, that's the end of our client's right to the orb.
Did he have this up his sleeve the whole time? Grr, how can Mr. Wright do this to us? He was just waiting to spring this trap.
Huh.
This trial has taken another unexpected turn. I must mention, Mr. Wright, that you had yet to identify the murder weapon.
The object used to commit the murder was not located at the scene of the crime. Murderer likely disposed of it elsewhere. Oh. So it was in the book with the blood and coffee on it?
Well, I never thought we'd be deliberating the issue of murder at a civil trial. All right, Mr. Atishon in prison. Your testimony, if you please.
Prepare be dazzled. Dazzled by charismatic oration forged in the crucible of campaign battles.
Yeah, okay.
That evening, I was walking alone, lost in thought. I passed by the doctor's house, and that's when I saw Mr. Arable. He was running out the front door. It was around 10 at night. Surely that must have been him fleeing the scene of his crime. A vote for me is a vote to end such violence. That is my promise to you.
So, the plaintiff saw a possible suspect fleeing from the doctor's residence, and he was within the window of the estimated time of death.
That's horrible. What in the world were you doing there then?
Oh dear. It seemed Mr. Arable was loitering about Korean village that day. There's evidence he was in the doctor's study as well. Isn't that right, Mr. Justice?
You mean the suitcase?
Exactly. You must have been in quite the rush to leave that behind. Oh, and by the way, Your Honor, Mr. Arable just so happens to be sitting in the gallery today. Ugh! See? That's him trying to escape as we speak.
Bailiff, don't let that man get away! Right, you backstabber! Why are you doing this to me? Yep. Alright. The counsel/defense might question the plaintiff/witness once more.
I'll be back. Alright, well, there you have it, folks. The pieces are starting to fall into place, and this is slowly turning from a civil case into a murder case. Things are about to get interesting, to say the least.
Please proceed, Mr. Justice.
That evening, I was walking alone, lost in thought.
Hold it!
Why were you taking a walk? Society is inundated with serious problems that must be solved, and as a politician, I'm always on the job thinking hard about possible solutions, even on my walks. Thanks for the non-answer. While we live out our comfy lives, there are starving children who suffer in the back alleys of our major cities. It's not in me to ignore such suffering. A vote for me is a vote to end hunger and for world peace.
Yes, Mr. Atishon Wimperson, we are well aware of your outstanding character. Now, please continue with your testimony.
I can practically hear my poll numbers surging. Now, on with my speech. After all, the voting public must be informed of the magnificence that is me. I passed by the doctor's house, and that's when I saw Mr. Arable.
Hold it!
Where exactly were you when you saw Mr. Arable? Right here, under this tree. I saw him dashing out of Dr. Buff's front door.
And he didn't notice you?
No, I was hidden by the tree.
Is it really all that important to know from where the plaintiff saw Mr. Arable?
Yes, I believe it matters a lot. I ask that it please be added to the witness's testimony. I was under this tree when I saw Mr. Arable.
Hold it!
What were you doing under that tree? A lack of lateral thinking. That is a politician's downfall.
What?
That is why, if I'm elected, I promise to think outside the box.
The question was, what were you doing under that tree, Mr. Atishon Wimperson?
I suppose I can't expect a plebeian such as yourself to understand my grand design. Oh yeah, try me, O Lord of Plebs.
Mr. Atishon Wimperson, I believe the court is well aware of your grand political vision. Now, let's have the rest of your testimony, if you please.
I can hardly wait for the upcoming election. He was running out the front door.
Hold it!
Did you notice anything unusual? Yeah, his behavior was incredibly suspicious. His eyes were darting all around as he ran off in total panic. As soon as I saw that, I knew he had done something, and it probably wasn't good. Despite that, you still didn't report it to the police. Who would have thought he had killed Dr. Buff? Not me. That's why I didn't report him.
So, the witness didn't notify the police. Is that an important statement, Mr. Justice?
Yes, it's important. I request that the witness add it to his testimony. Sure, why not? I had no idea that Dr. Buff was dead. That's why I didn't call the police.
Hold it!
You had no idea he was dead. In other words, you knew nothing about what had happened. I am truly ashamed of myself. What? There's been a gruesome murder in my beloved village. What a fool I've been. I was thinking only of the village's future and well-please. It seems my earnest attitude and industrious nature have come back to haunt me.
Only a politician would try to pass off self-aggrandizement as self-aggrandizement. Only a politician would try to pass off self-aggrandizement as self-deprecation.
Apollo, you think this is how all politicians will be from now on?
We're all doomed if they are.
If you don't mind, I'd like to continue with my testimony. It was around 10 at night. Surely that must have been him fleeing the scene of his crime.
Hold it!
But at the time, you didn't know the doctor was dead. Is that correct?
It's true that I've been known as a prodigy from a very young age.
Huh?
I graduated high school and college with exceptional grades. As class president, I reformed stale-old school traditions. My exploits were even covered in local papers. But as exceptional as I am, I can't possibly be expected to know everything at all times.
This isn't working. He keeps bending the questions to serve his own needs.
Hang in there, Apollo. Mr. Atishon Wimperson, I believe the court is well aware of your exceptional nature. Now, would you please continue with your testimony?
Hee hee hee. I have the upcoming election in the bag. A vote for me is a vote to end such violence. That is my promise to you.
So, how do you actually intend to end such violence?
Elite politicians such as myself never reveal their strategies. Did you really think I would divulge such sensitive information to the likes of you?
Yeah, but surely you have some sort of campaign platform you're running on?
No comment.
Clearly, his is a platform told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. He said he saw Datz from under the tree. If that's true, then...
Did you figure something out?
Yeah, I think he's hiding something. Let's take another look at the evidence, Athena.
What about the tree? Let's see. Oh. Alright. Yeah, okay. So present... I'm guessing present the photo, but maybe the diagram? Let's try to present the photo first.
Objection!
Okay.
Mr. Atishon Wimperson, rather than Mr. Arbol. Wasn't there something else that should have had your undivided attention?
Like what? Oh yeah, of course. A politician must also keep his finger on the electorate's pulse and focus on their nation.
Sorry, but you're way off.
I am?
Would you care to explain, Mr. Justice?
If the witness saw Mr. Arbol from his position here, then he should have also been able to see the doctor's body. After all, it was right next to a huge window.
Well, I believe you have a point there.
With the body that clearly visible to the witness, it's unthinkable that he wouldn't have reported it to the police.
Would the witness care to respond?
Did he fall asleep?
Mr. Atishon Wimperson? Mr. Atishon Wimperson!
Huh? Oh, there are many sides to any issue.
What did I ever do to deserve this? In any case, I'd like the court to acknowledge the inconsistency in the witness's testimony. Mr. Atishon Wimperson, did you really see Mr. Arbol?
Yes.
Hold it!
Where do you think you're going? Oh, I thought I'd return to my seat, seeing as I'd already answered the question. This isn't some small town hall debate, so you just stay right here until I say we're through. I'll have to run that by my campaign manager before I...
Objection!
Glare. Yo!
Mr. Atishon Wimperson, I think it's time for you to come clean.
Huh? So then, does this mean he didn't see Mr. Arbol?
As your lawyer, Mr. Atishon Wimperson, I advise you divulge that matter we discussed. Silence is no longer an option.
Are you sure about this? I'm in the midst of running for office. I can't afford to let any strange rumors get out.
Don't worry. You won't suffer any blowback for what you're about to reveal.
Blowback? I'm not sure I like the sight of that, Mr. Wright.
Not to worry, Your Honor. Nothing untoward will come of this, I promise. Now then, Mr. Justice. Remember how it was an anonymous caller that reported the doctor's death?
Come to think of it. Emma, who was the first one to discover the body? About that, whoever it was, it seems they wanted to remain anonymous. What? Happens now and then. Some people would rather not get involved with the police. Wait, you're not saying that...
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. The anonymous source who contacted the police after discovering the body was my client, Mr. Paul Atishon Wimperson.
What? You don't say.
So you see, he played his part as a considered citizen, quite admirably, if I may say so. Isn't that right?
Yes, indeed. In our society today, there are too many who choose indifference over righteous action, but I don't number among them. That's why I did my duty as a concerned citizen. One might call me the model citizen, one worthy of standing above the rest. What a real Sanderberry he is, reporting it anonymously.
Oh, and by the way, Mr. Justice, wasn't there someone else at the scene of the crime when my client discovered the body?
Oh, you mean Mr. Arbol? You would have been leaving the doctor's house right around then. Wait, that means...
Yes, it does. In short, what my client witnessed was Mr. Arbol fleeing the scene of a heinous murder. And that's not all. Based on what we've heard so far, Mr. Arbol looked exceedingly suspicious, and that's putting it mildly. We already know the Defiant Dragons threatened the Doctor with bodily harm. And now that they have killed him, the so-called orb transfer agreement is null and void. Apollo, if you don't come up with some sort of counter-argument...
what sort of evidence do you have? Can you actually prove that it was Mr. Arbol who killed the doctor?
That move had desperate written all over it.
It's all I've got, so I'm going with it.
Evidence? I suppose it's true that I don't have any.
I knew it.
But I do have another witness.
You do?
You should know I always come fully prepared, Mr. Justice. And my new witness will provide testimony proving Mr. Arbol's guilt.
A new witness? I wonder who it could be.
Federal, bailiff, please summon our new witness. In the meantime, the court will take a brief recess. I would like both sides to use this time to prepare properly. Understood.
May 17th, District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Wow, I knew Mr. Wright would put up a tough fight, but... yeah, just when I thought we had him, he turned the tables on us. He really is the turnabout cheddar. Can't let it blindside us again.
Looks like they've got me again. 3 times in 1 year. That's a new record.
Datz, please, no more new records, or bad puns while you're at it. It's hard enough trying to help you as it is.
Roger that. I'll be more careful next time. Datz, is what Mr. Wright said true? Did you really pay a visit to Dr. Buff that night? Sure did. Can't remember the exact time, though. All I know is you wouldn't hand over the orb. Someone put it in his head that we rebels were dangerous. That's why he threw me out.
So, the doctor was still alive when Datz last saw it.
We'll still have to prove it. We'll still have to prove it, though.
Better brace yourself, son. The next witness's testimony could make or break this case.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, where's Trissy? She went to go see her dad. Maybe she's still mad. More like worried. Worried that this trial will create a rift between you two, and that you might then leave the agency.
She has an active imagination.
Excuse me, the trial will be resuming shortly.
Well, let's go see what new testimony awaits us. May 17th, District Court, Courtroom number 6.
Alright, court is back in session. Mr. Wright, you said you are the witness.
Your Honor, I would like to call the lone survivor of the doctor's murder to the stand.
Wait, you can't mean that Sarge is here? You mean Dr. Buff's reclusive son? How did you get him to cooperate?
Nothing a little persuasion can handle. The poor child only agreed to help if it meant catching the killer.
Getting a kid like that to overcome his fear. Now that's impressive.
This must be really important testimony for the kid to come out in public like this.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Please call your witness to the stand.
I knew it. I knew it.
Oh my!
Sergeant Buff at your service, sir! He's here as a drone? Really?
Mr. Wright, what exactly is the meaning of this?
Past trauma has rendered it impossible for the witness to venture into public. Leaving home was hard enough, and it seems leaving the witness lobby was just too much. But I would still like to continue with testimony delivered via this drone.
I understand it must be terrible to lose one father like that. But testimony via a remote control toy? Well, let's take things for a spin and see how it goes.
That's who's responding to this trial anyway.
The judge sure warmed up to the idea fast.
I think the phrase you're looking for is gave up.
You disappoint me, Corporal Justice, to think I once called you comrade.
Defending the man who killed Pava? That's full-on treason, soldier. I hereby demote you back to private.
Corporal? Private? What's he talking about, Apollo?
It's a long story.
Now then, are you ready to testify, youngster?
Locked and loaded, sir. Ready to rain lead down upon the perpetrator. Ha 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 ha. Papa met with someone the night he died. I didn't have eyes on the ground as I'd already mounted my siege defense, but I did hear him argue with someone in his study. From my window, I saw the one designated Datz getting ejected from the premises. After that, the man lingered around the perimeter for some time. He must have regrouped and killed my papa in the study later. I just know it.
So he was thrown out, but later returned and committed the murder, did he?
Yes, Your Honor. So, the man my client saw really must have been the fleeing Mr. Arable.
Objection! Right, you backstabbing no good. I didn't kill no one.
It's the enemy. Ready all missiles and fire!
Woo, 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 woo.
Capitalist pig, I'll turn you into pork stroganoff. And that's just a taste of my ultimate anti-SWAT weapon. Oh, fires missiles too?
Yes, well, the witness is all yours, Mr. Justice.
The hell? I love how that didn't faze the judge at all. He just fired a bunch of missiles. Alright, I'll be back. Alright then, so, Sarge has taken the stand. Well, kind of. And also, Datz keeps sneaking in to the court lobby and then running away and then sneaking back again. So, And the drone that Sarge was piloting just shot a bunch of... I mean, I'm assuming fake missiles, but still. All in a day's work, I guess. Alright. Here we go.
Papa met with someone the night he died.
Your father met with someone? Could you be more specific?
No, I was in the midst of a crucial defensive siege operation.
Right. You're referring to how you don't leave your room, correct?
You never know where the enemy might be lurking outside the siege perimeter.
What about, school?
Oh, I don't go to boot camp. I'm a soldier. A sergeant doesn't associate with rookies still too green to fight.
With a kid like this, I bet Dr. Buff won't be getting any rest in the afterlife either.
It's very brave of you to come to the courthouse today, but what was that you said about a siege defense? Oh, that? Well, I didn't have eyes on the ground as I'd already mounted my siege defense, but...
Sarge, I've always wondered, who or what are you battling?
That's classified.
Even so, it may be relevant to this case.
I don't know if you're the right person to be asking about things like that. That's right. Such matters need to be handled with a certain delicacy.
Oh, I guess curiosity got the better of me.
You're all talking no action, soldier. Out on the battlefield, it ain't the number of pretty words in your repertoire, but the number of bullets in your gun belt that counts.
Easy for you to say. You're the one with all of them.
Would the witness please tell this court what he saw and heard that night? I did hear him arguing with someone in his study.
What was the argument about?
I heard things like, "Where's the orb?" and "Are you defiant dragons really criminals?" It sounded real volatile, like a war might break out at any second.
So, the two of them had an argument when Datz came to get the orb. Did you see or hear anything else?
Yeah, I heard them arguing, and then silence. From my window, I saw the one designated Datz getting ejected from the premises.
How was Mr. Arable acting?
Like a conquered trooper retreating with his tail between his legs.
A trooper? Well, I guess he does dress like he's in the military. I bet those two would have really hit it off had they met under different circumstances. Yeah, I can see that.
And so, the defeated soldier was expelled. But that wasn't the end. After that, the man lingered around the perimeter for some time.
That does seem suspicious.
He kept hiding behind trees and telephone poles and stealing glances at our houses.
Well, he couldn't exactly leave without the orb.
I bet he was angry that I'd been kicked out. He must have regrouped and killed my papa in the study later. I just know it.
But don't you keep your front door unlocked? If so, then anyone could have gotten in.
That's true. Papa didn't keep our house locked up. He said there was no need because there were only good people in Corinne Village.
Yet he ended up dead anyway.
Only a monster could do what they did to my kind, trusting Papa. There will be no mercy. I vow swift and terrible vengeance. I'll carpet bomb the killer with everything in my arsenal. Fire! While I sympathize with you, witness, you will refrain from firing Gatling guns at this court.
So Sarge saw Datz too.
Just when I thought things couldn't get any worse. I wonder why he hung around after being thrown out.
I hate to say this, but if Datz is proven to be the killer, we'll lose the orb to the plaintiff. So our only option is to prove the Defiant Dragons had nothing to do with the murder. Didn't have any eyes on the ground, as I'd already mounted my siege defense, but I did hear him arguing with someone in his study. In my window, I saw that one designated Datz getting ejected from the premises. After that, the man lingered around the perimeter for some time. He must have regrouped and killed my papa in the study later, I just know it. The study. Okay, I guess, yeah. I guess you can call that corner a study. Do we present the agreement? Because, I mean, basically this would mean that the Defiant Dragons would be the last people to kill Dr. Archie because they signed this agreement, so... maybe?
Objection!
Okay. That was a bit out there.
There's something off about that statement.
It seemed perfectly reasonable to me.
No, something's definitely not right if you listen really carefully.
A gambler once sang, "You've got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em."
Oh, I love this one. Know when to walk away, know when to run.
I don't know which penalty hurts more, the judges or their singing. Alright, let's look around the evidence first. Founder's orb, Doctor hidden in the ruins, before his death. Atishon saw Datz fleeing the scene. I don't know. How do we prove? How do we prove that Datz was not the murderer? Oh, okay. Hold on. What was the argument about? I heard things like, oh, okay, he did hear. Sound volatile. Two of them. See anything else? I heard them arguing in silence. From my window, someone says, another man lingered on for some time. So a group keep my pop on the city later, just know it. Sarge saw Datz too. Just when I thought things were getting worse, I wonder why he hung around after being thrown out. I'd say this, but if Datz proving the killer, we'll lose the orb to the plaintiff, so our only option is to prove the Defiant Dragons had nothing to do with the murder. Okay. I mean, like I said, I feel like the fact that if the doctor comes to any harm, they won't get the orb. So I think that's sufficient enough evidence that the Defiant Dragons would have nothing to do with his murder, but apparently not, unless I'm not presenting it to the right statement. But what other statement could there be? You linger there.
Objection!
Okay. Counter with this piece of evidence.
Just how does it contradict with the evidence, Mr. Justice?
Could I have about 5 minutes to figure out the answer to that?
Defense will figure out before it presents evidence next time.
Sounds like a plan.
What the fuck is going on? It's just me, or does that statement sound a bit dubious?
You know what? You're right. Thanks, Athena.
Anytime.
I'd take another look at the evidence.
Really? What is it? I didn't have eyes on the ground, as I'd already mounted my siege defense, but... Gotta be fucking kidding me.
Objection!
Fuck off.
Sarge, are you hiding something from me?
How dare you question your superior officer like that? You want to get in on this Stroganoff action with Pip-Boy over there, soldier?
Sorry, but I'm afraid lawyers are missile-proof.
What? What does the defense care to explain?
It's simple, Your Honor. Just as he is able to see what is happening in court right now, Sarge was able to see what was happening in the city then. With his cherished drone, of course.
Oh, now that you mention it. I have to think the answer was right before our eyes this whole time.
Sarge, you were perfectly capable of patrolling the city that night. So you must have seen something.
I'm hit. What is that strange new weapon you're using against me?
Koran warriors don't use guns or missiles because evidence is our weapon of choice. And the evidence has exposed your bald-faced lie. My truth bomb, Sarge, has stripped your defenses bare.
Truth bomb? No! Mayday, mayday, I'm going down! Oh my, are you alright? Cough, sputter, evidence. Never have I seen such fearsome ordnance.
Tell it to us straight, Sarge. After all, you want to help your father, don't you?
Papa.
Yes, you want to find out who killed Papa, don't you? So please, tell us what you saw that night.
It's not what you think. I didn't see anything. I swear.
You sure? You seem awfully stretched for someone who didn't see anything. Sarge, you need to answer my question.
Shut your pie-hole, maggot! It'll be a scorching day in Siberia before a loaded private like you orders me around.
Oh, what's with him with Siberia, of all places? But if a scorching day is what it'll take, then maybe it's time to turn up the heat. Hey, Athena, you think a therapy session might help?
Well, it could help alleviate some of his anxiety. Plus, I'm picking up a lot of discord in Sarge's voice. That usually means the patient wants to say something but can't for some reason.
And in Sarge's case, I imagine whatever is plaguing him is pretty severe. In that case, I'll leave it to you and your mood matrix magic.
You got it. Your Honor, I believe I can be of help here.
Time for a therapy session, is it, Miss Sykes?
Yes, it will help the witness with his anxiety, maybe even enough to testify.
Then by all means, please bring the poor child out into the light of day. Oh, but I assume this will be alright with you, Mr. Wright?
Why not? It's not like we all haven't been through this before.
What are you butting in for, lady? There ain't a place on this battlefield for you.
I beg to differ, Sarge. This G.I. Jane's always ready for a fight in the courtroom, and wait until you see what I've got in my arsenal. Analytical psychology. With it, I'm going to blow a big old hole in the armor you've built around your heart.
Ah! First evidence, no analytical psychology? Where are these WMDs coming from? Well, if it's a battle you want, bring it on. You may have started this war, but I'm going to end it. Corpseman, Corpsman Sykes.
You got it, Sarge. time to seek out the agony buried deep in your heart. Brace yourself. I'm assuming that since he is a kid, it'll be pretty easy to break him. I stayed in my room with my drone that evening. I heard Datz and Papa arguing with each other. Datz got kicked out, but I saw him still hanging around outside. I was in my room, so I didn't know Papa was dead until the next day. This emotion isn't that out of place, given the statement. Apollo, are you just looking at his emotions as they relate to only a single statement? It's really important to look for emotional fluctuation between different statements, too. Oh, right. Thanks for the reminder, Athena. Alright, let's try that again. So it's pretty normal for him to be sad all alone in his room? I guess, yeah, that makes sense. This emotion isn't that out of place, given the statement. Oh, he was less surprised by his father's death than he was by Datz hanging around. Okay. That's strange. You reacted with shock when you discovered your father's body, yet you weren't nearly as shocked then as when you saw Mr. Arable. Normally, you'd expect the death of one's father to be much more impactful. Enemy fire! Direct it! That is strange. I wonder what it could mean. Well, we know he wasn't as affected by his father's death as he should have been. And I think I know why. Oh? Sarge, you weren't as shocked at seeing your father's body as seeing Mr. Arable because... Did something else shock you when you saw Mr. Arable? Something even more shocking than your father's death? Like what exactly, Apollo? I don't know. Maybe a mouse or a cockroach. Ew, gross! Foolish cannon fodder! Vermin are powerless in the face of my deadly arsenal! I'll pump them full of lead! Sounds kind of messy, don't you think? Then I'll develop new weaponry. Maybe a flamethrower will do the trick. Sure, as long as you keep it for vermin use only. Guess it wasn't something like mice or cockroaches after all, eh? No, but it was worth a try, especially to see your reaction. Sigh, what else could it be? Sarge, you weren't as shocked at seeing your father's body as seeing Mr. Arable because... Sarge, maybe the truth is you left your room that night, and that's when you saw it, your father's body. I saw no such thing! Really? You didn't see his body? Alright then. What did you see? Look, Apollo, we've lost some noise. So, just as I suspected, he really did see something. Sarge, please, tell us what you saw.
The moment I saw it, I couldn't bear it. I couldn't stand to lose yet another loved one.
Huh? Am I missing something here? Is that why you weren't very shocked when you found out your father was dead? Because you had already sensed that he was a goner somehow?
Maybe.
Please, Sarge. What was it you saw on the night of your father's murder?
Oh, God. I saw...
What's happening?
I don't like where this is going.
No more, please.
Eek! Help!
I've confiscated your little toy. The battlefield has no place for unauthorized equipment.
Widget! Apollo, I can't continue the session without him.
Calm yourself, this isn't witness. I hereby order you to submit your therapy session. What in blazes? Look at me, I'm judge, jury, and executioner now. I hereby convene a military tribunal.
Whoa, this has gone way too far.
But first I tell him this isn't. Stop resisting. If you don't come quietly, I'll fire!
Give what you back right.
What the fuck is going on? Is he gonna blow up the entire courtroom? Whew. Finally got him back. Nice work.
This witness is truly a handful. Oh, up, 2, 3, 4.
Miss Sykes, what's the witness's current psychological state? Let's see. He's emotionally all over the map. So, his out-of-control emotions are in control of him, huh? Does that mean we can calm him down if we can figure out the root cause? Yes. So let's see what we can find. Sarge, can you hear me?
Is that you, Coleman Sykes?
I'm here. Now, I want you to take a few deep breaths. Just try to relax. Try it with me. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out.
In, out, in, out.
And now, let your emotions take you where they will. Go on, just let it all out.
No! All forces attack!
That's the least relaxing breathing exercise I've ever seen.
Alright. Let's get back to it, shall we?
Datz was still hanging around after he got kicked out when I heard more fighting, and I got worried about Papa. So I left my room, but suddenly I got dizzy and passed out. I remember a flame lighting up the room, and Papa grinning with a delight. That's when he must have been killed, if only I hadn't passed out.
Got it!
That's it. Sarge, you were overcome with shock and fear when you saw those flames, weren't you? Yes, just 6 months ago, you and your mother were caught up in an arsonist blaze, so it's no wonder you'd be extremely scared of fire.
Yeah, that does make sense.
And maybe, just maybe, your subconscious fear of fire was what caused you to withdraw from the world.
What do you mean, gore woman Zags?
In the outside world, you are bound to come across all sorts of fire. Candles, cigarettes, heck, even the grill at a diner. Even if it's not that often, just the idea that you might see them grew bigger and bigger until you couldn't shut it out.
I think you might be onto something. Candles, cigarettes, just thinking about them sends a chill down my spine.
Well, the things I take for granted.
Now I see. I was afraid of the fire. Strange, I didn't even realize it myself.
About that fire, Sarge, can you tell me what it was burning?
Just say Coleman, maybe something will come to you.
Oh, I'm starting to remember. It was that relic. That relic Papa was studying. It was on fire.
The orb was on fire?
It's still kind of fuzzy, But yes, the orb was burning right in front of Papa. And there, in the flames, was... Mama? Yes, now I remember. I saw Mama appear amid the dancing flames.
Wait, what? What's going on here?
Maybe it's a memory from the fire that killed his mother. It might be confusing it with what really happened when his father died.
So, let me guess. More therapy.
Yep, but this time, it seems there's an inconsistency in his statements, and I think we should be able to prove it with the evidence at hand.
I hope this inconsistency is the key to proving that the relic really is the Founder's Orb. Datz was still hanging around after he got kicked out when I heard more fighting and I got worried about Papa. So I left my room, but suddenly I got dizzy and passed out. I remember a flame ran up the room and Papa grinning with delight. The relic was on fire and I saw Mama's face inside. That's when Papa must have been killed. If only I hadn't passed out.
But yeah, the orb wouldn't have been there at the time of his death. It was already hidden.
Objection!
There's an inconsistency in Sergeant's testimony.
Is that so? Would you be so kind as to point it out to the court?
Well, if you're gonna put me on the spot like that, I admit my confidence is waning.
I could say the same about my confidence in you, Mr. Justice.
I wish you wouldn't. I wish you wouldn't, Your Honor.
Say, Apollo, Sarge is saying that his father was burning the orb when he was killed. But doesn't that seem funny to you? Considering what the doctor was up to that night, it doesn't add up.
Well, now that you mention it. Alright, I better look through the evidence one more time.
Okay, so what? Come on. It says right there. The doctor hid it in the ruins. Okay. Present what? The coat? The moss? The moss.
Objection!
No? Okay. Fuck you. Really? It's the fucking coat? Why wouldn't any of the three would work? Why wouldn't any of them work? Oh, God. Is it also not gonna be the coat? Swear to God.
Objection!
Am I presenting on the wrong statement? But it's the one with the orb. What? How more definitive could it be?
Objection! Objection!
Of course. Why would it be that statement? Fucking dumbass game. Doesn't make sense. Somebody's been slacking off.
Don't blame yourself, Sarge. After all, even if you hadn't passed out, the outcome would have been the same.
What do you mean?
I'm talking about the time of death. Your father wasn't killed right after you left the room.
What? Explain to yourself at once, Private Justice!
You say you saw your father burning the orb, right? But that night, he went out to hide it in the cave. So, what you saw, Sarge, was something that happened before your father left to hide the orb. So you see, you didn't pass out right before he was killed. You passed out right before he left for the cave to hide the orb in the rooms within.
So, even if I hadn't passed out.
That's right. The outcome would have been exactly the same. That's because your father, Dr. Buff, was killed after he returned from the ruins. And therefore, Sarge, there's no need for you to blame yourself.
Oh, I see. Private Justice, can you really say I bear no blame in this?
Why do you ask?
Because the truth is, if I hadn't engaged in my siege defense, Papa would still be alive.
Sarge,
Papa wished nothing more than for me to lead a happy, healthy life. That's why he quit his job and moved us out away from the big city. But even then, I didn't have the courage to set foot into the outside world. And in the end, I failed to make Papa's wish come true.
Sarge? Oh, Sarge? If you want to make your father's wish come true, if that's what you really want, then who's to say it's too late? Why don't you take the first step now?
My first step?
That's right. You can cast off all your regret. You can stop standing still and start moving forward. You have the power within you. I know from experience. I know what it's like to feel like you do. But only you can decide to take that first step.
if you don't change your tactics now, Sarge, the victory you seek in the war you're waging will always lie beyond your grasp.
I think I understand now. I've made up my mind. As of this moment, I will suspend my siege defense indefinitely.
Sergeant Buff, reporting for duty.
What? I thought you were a guy!
You're definitely not the gruff drill sergeant I envisioned. Well, my mama was in the Russian army. I was just as shocked, but certainly explained a few things when I found out, too. May I introduce you to Miss Army Buff, age 12.
No way!
Careful, soldier! Don't forget I could blow you away at a moment's notice. She's just too cute.
So, have you always been in a wheelchair, Sarge?
Negative. Only since I was injured. In the fire.
Your voice sounds awfully different from before.
My drone features a voice modulation device. It's just one of my army's many technological marvels.
Well, you fooled me. I thought some 20-something military fanatic was at the controls.
If it's all the same to you, troops, I'd like to continue my testimony. I've just remembered something, and it says crisp and clear as a trumpet at a roll call.
What did you remember?
It wasn't my mother who appeared in the burning orb. It was some lady Papa had shown me a picture of a long time ago. He said it was the Holy Mother, the founder of Curianism. She appeared right there, right in the burning orb.
What did you say?
Oh, we're still here? Huh. The Holy Mother of Curianism was the burning orb. What does that even mean?
I have a bad feeling about this.
Could it be? Could this explain what Sarge means by the mother?
Alright, hello, welcome back. Sorry about that. We missed a couple things here. Let's see. Oh yeah, we missed a lot. Okay. There we go. Let's hope that that doesn't happen again. Luckily we have this history that we can go back and play out what happened. Okay.
Could it be? Could this explain what Sarge means by the Holy Mother appearing in the burning orb? Take that. Dr. Bust's research notes? Oh, Dr. Bust's research notes? What do they have to do with this? Look at this. The burning orb, the appearance of the founder. This part points to both. There's a legend about the orb involving a mysterious riddle, and this song in turn is said to contain the key to solving it. If the legend is true, then I believe the answer lies in this part of the song. Offer thy prayers as fervent as fire, only then shall the Holy Mother return. Well, anyone see where I'm going with this?
Prayers as fervent as fire. Ah! You were supposed to set the orb on fire?
The whole stanza seems to suggest that the founder will appear if the orb is set on fire.
Wait, so the doctor, he...
Yes, Athena. He had solved the ancient riddle of the founder's orb.
Oh my!
Papa was a great archaeologist, so I believe in him, and I want to believe he achieved his long-time dream of solving that riddle before he died. Well, we won't know for sure until we try it for ourselves. Yes, do it, Bravo Justice, please. I want to see what Papa was searching for with my own eyes.
Objection!
The plaintiff must object to this.
Objection!
The plaintiff will stand down and be quiet.
Objection!
You don't have the right to set a precious relic like that on fire.
Objection!
Oh, but I do. All I needed was Sarge's permission. Since we still don't know if this treasure is the founder's orb or the crystal of Amy Faye, any ownership rights to the doctor had now belonged to his daughter. Therefore, you have absolutely no right to stop us!
Very well, Mr. Justice. I never thought I'd be saying this, but you may bear the evidence.
Alright, here we go. Look.
Apollo, the inside of the orb, it's melting.
There's something in there. Derek! Isn't she?
Her garb leaves no room for doubt. It's the founder herself, face and all. I don't understand. The greatest of taboos in Kiranism is a depiction of the founder's face, yet here it is, hidden within this orb.
Sorry, Mr. Wright, but as you can see, the issue is crystal clear. This figure is the Holy Mother, founder of Kiranism. And based on that, this must be none other than the founder's orb.
Objection!
But be that as it may, Mr. Arbo still may have killed the doctor. If so, it will render the orb transfer agreement null and void.
Don't play dumb, Mr. Wright. The truth of the matter has already been proven. Dr. Buff wasn't killed right after Sarge saw Mr. Arbo. It happened after the doctor came back from hiding the orb. And you have no proof that Mr. Arbo is still around that time. Your claim that the Defiant Dragons were behind the crime doesn't hold water. And that means the orb transfer agreement is still perfectly valid. Admit it, Mr. Wright. I just burned your whole case to the ground. No! I won? Actually won?
Mr. Wright, would you care to respond?
Respond?
I didn't think so.
Wait, did we just win? We actually beat the Turnabout Terror? You're amazing, Apollo.
Don't just stand there, right? Do something.
Well, I don't think there's anything out of this hole.
Mr. Atishon Wimperson, I think it's time for your concession speech. I have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is the Founder's Orb. The facts don't lie, but you obviously do. How's that for a campaign slogan? Why, you contemptuous peasant?
I think this is a good time to wrap up this trial. If both parties have no further objections, I'll render my verdict.
No objections here, Your Honor.
No,
You can't do this. The crystal is mine. I'll lose the election if I lose that crystal.
I'm sorry.
But there's really nothing more I can do. You haven't forgotten about our little chat, have you? What's going on here?
Does he have Maya hostage?
Objection!
Your Honor, I object to the defense's last claim.
What?
I don't believe they have truly proven that the relic is indeed the Founder's Orb.
Objection!
Mr. Wright, I don't think even you could bluff your way out of this one. What possible argument could you have to claim that this isn't the Founder's Orb?
About that.
Oh, of course. He can't possibly have hit on something.
The defense's assertion is incomplete. And this is why. Their claim that this relic is the Founder's Orb is based on a legend, and that legend claims that the Founder will return when the riddle is solved at last.
Right. And that's what happened. The Founder was revealed for all to see.
But Mr. Justice, what about the rest of the legend?
Huh?
According to the legend, once the Founder returned, she would bestow spiritual power onto the person who solved the riddle.
You're kidding, right?
Well, Mr. Justice, do you feel great spiritual power coursing through your veins?
No. But receiving spiritual powers and stuff, it's all just mystic mumbo jumbo, right?
Maybe so, but you're the one basing your claim on said legend. And what we saw here does not fully fulfill it, does it?
No, but...
Consequently, you cannot rightfully claim that this is the Founder's Orb.
What's gone into him? Why is Mr. Wright doing this?
It would appear that Mr. Wright has lost a few of his marbles.
That couldn't be further from the truth, Your Honor.
In any case, I believe this is a good time for a recess. Both sides will have 20 minutes to prepare. I ask that all arguments be ready by then. Oh, and Mr. Wright, you do want to wash up and find your missing marbles by then, too.
May 17th, District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3.
Mr. Wright is sure acting funny. I mean, he's famous for going out on a limb, but that last session was just plain crazy.
It's either a bluff or a Hail Mary. Either way, doesn't make much sense. Maybe there's something we're missing here. Although, you seemed perfectly normal when we spoke earlier.
Apollo, I have a bad feeling about this. I'm going to check up on him.
What's going on with you, Mr. Wright?
Hey.
Hey, Private Justice. Oh, Sarge. I forgot to mention something. On the night of Papa's murder, a strange thing happened. Oh, but why are you only telling me about it now? Well, I didn't say anything before because I thought Papa's death was an accident. But now that we know otherwise, I figured it might be important. There's still more to this case. When I left my room and lost consciousness, I passed out right here. That's right above the coffee bar. Mm-hmm. But when I came to, someone was pushing my wheelchair. What? I was so scared I beat a hasty retreat as fast as my wheels could take me. Do you know who it was? No, it was pitch black. Plus, I fled to my room so fast I didn't even have a chance to turn on the lights. Maybe it was your father. No, he would have said something to me. Besides, I'd have known it was him. So then, it could have been your father's real killer? My thoughts exactly. You didn't report this to the police?
It didn't even occur to me.
It's okay. You're obviously so upset, so don't beat yourself up over it.
Apollo, this could be really important information. I think the act of pushing Sarge's wheelchair could be part of some bigger scheme. It's hard to see why else the killer would have done such a thing.
Guess I should take our statement down as evidence. Oh, welcome back, Athena. What's with the long face? How'd it go in Mr. Wright?
What should I...
Athena?
Oops, sorry. Zoned out there for a sec.
The recess is almost over, so let's go. What was that all about?
He's gotta be being blackmailed into this. But I don't know what he has on him. Could be Maya, could be something else, could be Pearl.
May 17th, District Court, courtroom number 6.
Alright, court is once again back in session. Now, Mr. Wright, about that last objection you raised.
We, the plaintiffs, still believe that the defense has yet to sufficiently prove its case. They claim that, according to legend, the Founder's Orb would bestow spiritual power, yet the relic in question has failed to do so. Therefore, it has failed its own test.
I see.
He's sticking with that ridiculous argument.
Furthermore, even if it is the Founder's Orb, it can't be awarded to the Defiant Dragons. After all, they were the ones who killed Dr. Buff.
Objection!
What are you talking about? That was already proven to be false. There are no grounds for asserting that the Defiant Dragons murdered the Doctor.
Oh, but I'm afraid there are, Mr. Justice. Your Honor, I would like to present new testimony to this court. Testimony that will show that Datz Arabal did in fact kill Dr. Buff.
What?
Very well. You may call me a witness.
I guess Mr. Wright found another new angle.
What new testimony could there be to this late in the game?
Let me guess, it's from Paul. Yeah.
Fellow citizens, it is I, Paul Atishon, the once and future representative of the people. Jeez, not him again.
My client divulged new information to me during the recess. He remembered something he saw, you see. Something crucial to this case.
How very convenient.
Out of the blue, huh? Just like that. Interesting that he didn't choose to divulge this information anytime sooner.
It was around 11 at night and I was out on a mobile meet and greet around the village. That's when I saw Dr. Buff being murdered from outside his study window. Mr. Arbol snuck up from behind and struck him on the head. His weapon of choice? A suitcase. A big, strong man like him could easily swing a heavy suitcase into someone's head. You saw the murder as it happened? And you're just telling us now because... Hee hee hee. I've saved the best for last. It's tactic known to all political grades.
The murder weapon was a complete mystery, but my client's eyewitness account has finally brought it into the light.
According to the autopsy report, Dr. Buff was struck in the head by the corner of some object. I suppose that could very well be the corner of a suitcase.
Objection!
Come on!
But eyewitness testimony isn't the same as hard evidence.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about that if I were you.
What's that supposed to mean?
We have physical evidence too. A luminol test revealed the doctor has blood on Mr. Arabal's suitcase.
Really? How does that prove Mr. Arbol used it as a weapon?
Objection!
You should know the answer to that, Mr. Justice, since you know as well as I that the suitcase is covered in his fingerprints.
I forgot we dusted it right in front of Emma.
Turnabout terror strikes again.
This is quite convincing testimony and evidence. Nevertheless, you may proceed with your closing examination, Mr. Justice.
still not proof that it was Datz who used the suitcase as a weapon. Of course, there would be fingerprints on it. It's his suitcase.
It was around 11 at night, and I was out on a mobile meet and greet around the village.
Hold it!
You were on a so-called mobile meet and greet at 11 at night? That's right. It's the perfect time because everyone is at home. You should have seen how the villagers' eyes teared up when they heard what I had to say. With tears of frustration, no doubt.
You weren't riding around in your palanquin?
That's right. Some village idiot reported me to the police. I've been banned from using it after dark.
No wonder. What with all that noise he makes.
So, what exactly did you see then? That's when I saw Dr. Buff being murdered from outside his study window.
Hold it!
Sounds like you witnessed something rather shocking. Indeed, I didn't even believe it at first. I mean, a vicious murder in Korean. There haven't been many murders there, I take it. If I'm elected, I promise you that such a terrible tragedy will never happen again. A vote for me is a vote to banish murder forever from our beloved Korean village. Yeah, good luck with that.
Mr. Atishon Wimberson, please tell the court what you saw at the scene of the crime.
Mr. Eyeball snuck up from behind, struck him on the head.
Hold it!
He snuck up from behind. So you're saying the doctor never even realized Mr. Eyeball was there? That's right. He was utterly absorbed in a book. I see. And what did you see Mr. Eyeball do next? He climbed up the bookshelf ladder and dumped a bunch of books down on the body. I believe he's trying to make it look like an accident. But that idiot didn't realize I could see everything from outside the window. One of those statements doesn't feel right. Your Honor, I believe the witness made an important statement just now about how Datz is an idiot. The doctor was reading a book at the time of the murder. That's vital testimony.
Very well, the witness will please add that statement to his testimony.
The doctor was standing in front of the bookshelves, absorbed in a book.
Hold it!
You watched the murderer commit his crime and did nothing to stop it? That doesn't sound like a good way to score points with the voting public. I'm a politician, not a superhero. I'm under no obligation to risk life or limb. Sure is quick to deny his obligations when there's nothing in it for him. I'm getting tired of listening to his endless campaigning and flimsy rationalizations.
By your testimony, Mr. Atishon Wimberson, you said Mr. Eyeball struck the doctor from behind while he was absorbed in a book.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. His weapon of choice? A suitcase.
Hold it!
Are you sure? Positive. I saw it with my own two eyes. Yet, despite your certainty, you kept quiet about it until now. No, I was waiting. I knew there would be a perfect chance to talk about it later. Information must always be disclosed in a strategic manner. That is one of the lessons of Kingcraft, as taught by the Atishon clan. Is there a lesson by chance in the Atishon Kingcraft guidebook on being honest? Anyway, I saw Mr. Eyeball commit that heinous crime. A big, strong man like him could easily swing a heavy suitcase into someone's head.
Hold it!
I would have to agree, that suitcase is really heavy. Wait a second. How did you know it was so heavy? For all he knew, it could have been empty.
My client witnessed the crime in progress, so naturally he saw Mr. Eyeball straining to lift what was obviously a heavy suitcase. I can't say I'm a fan of you trying to discredit my client by tripping him up, Mr. Justice.
But I'm just doing what you always do, Mr. Wright. Dr. Buff was struck from behind while he was absorbed in a book.
Must have been really into it.
It doesn't add up.
What doesn't?
That Paul Atishon is lying, I'm sure of it.
Objection!
There we go. before we continue, I'm going to take another break, and I'll be right back. Alright then, so, looks like we caught old Paul here in a very, very serious lie there. A lie that even Phoenix managed to pick up on. But what that lie could mean, I still don't know. This Paul Atishon fella doesn't really strike me as the kind of person who does his own dirty work, so I suppose anything is possible, but we'll see what happens.
The doctor was standing in front of the bookshelves, absorbed in a book, you say? I'm sorry, but it seems your testimony is completely unreliable.
That's quite a bold statement. Well, let's hear you back it up. I challenge you to prove that I'm anything but 100% reliable.
It would be my pleasure. Lately, it seems the doctor's eyes had gone so bad he needed reading glasses. However, his reading glasses were over on his desk. So you see, there's no way he could have been reading in front of the bookshelves. I'm sorry, Mr. Atishon Wimperson, but I'm gonna have to ask you to explain this discrepancy to the voting public. You what?
I'll explain it, you lowly cur. I simply made a mistake, you see. The doctor was actually sitting at his desk when Mr. Arbol hit him over the head.
But then the doctor would have been facing him. Surely he would have seen him and tried to run.
Dr. Bove was nodding off. I could tell because his eyes were closed and he wasn't moving.
Sounds more like what you would do. How do you explain the fact that he was struck in the back of the head? Isn't that something that should be impossible from the front of the desk?
Oh, about that. He bowed his head when he nodded off. That's when he was clobbered.
So that's what you saw. Well, Mr. Justice, that sounds like a perfectly reasonable explanation to me. Do you have a problem with the proposal that the doctor was struck while nodding off?
I mean, the answer seems obvious, but I don't know. I'm worried.
There is a problem. A very big problem. The witness's statement doesn't hold up under the slightest bit of scrutiny.
So, then will you please show this court what evidence you have to justify this?
Glad, Your Honor. This shows the problem with the witness's claim that he saw the doctor nodding off.
Coffee stains?
Take that!
This shows a glaring problem with the witness's statement. See, the witness has passed out from the overwhelming power of my evidence.
No, Mr. Justice, your lackadaisical attempt to refute him put my client to sleep, that's all.
I feel like I'm coming on myself. Perhaps giving you this penalty will wake me up. Wake me up before you go.
Alright, let's try that again. Maybe there is no problem. Maybe he was asleep at his desk and someone struck him, killed him, and then dragged his body next to the bookshelves and then poured the books on him. Yeah, that makes sense. No problem.
No problem here, Your Honor. The doctor was probably dozing, just as the witness said.
No, Apollo, wait! If you accept that, then you might as well admit that Datz killed the doctor.
Your Honor, I actually do have a problem with that statement.
But let's avoid careless answers like that or I'll have a problem with you.
I think you're gonna have more than a problem with me. Problem with the witness's claims that he saw the doctor nodding off.
Oh, because okay, he's being barricaded by a wall of bookshelves, so no one could sneak up behind him. Is that it?
Take that!
A diagram of the study?
Mr. Atishon Wimperson allegedly viewed the murder from here. And the doctor was allegedly nodding off here. But from his vantage point, the bookcase would have blocked the witness's line of sight.
Why, yes, I believe you're right.
But,
Objection!
The fact remains, my client knew that the suitcase was the murder weapon, so he definitely has first-hand knowledge of the crime scene.
I'm afraid I have to agree with you there, Mr. Wright. But then we have to ask ourselves, from what vantage point did he see the murder?
What are you insinuating, Mr. Justice?
From what vantage point could Mr. Atishon Wimperson have seen the dozing doctor? Once we determine that, I believe we'll finally see the truth behind this incident. The witness saw the murder from right there.
You've got to be kidding!
Well, that's...
It is indeed, but everything only makes sense if the witness was there in the study.
Inside the study? But that's the scene of the crime.
I know. Mr. Atishon Wimperson, the man who claims to be a witness of the murder, was most certainly in that very room.
Apollo, are you suggesting...
Mr. Atishon Wimperson, weren't you the one who actually swung that suitcase?
Objection!
What you're proposing is ludicrous. My client is a small, thin man, whereas Mr. Arbel has the musculature to pull it off.
He has a point. I gave up trying to lift that thing after one go.
That's right. He is the only one who could have lifted such a heavy object. Now do you understand? The rebel Datz is the doctor's killer. As long as the suitcase is the murder weapon, the suspicion falls entirely on Datz. You'll have to poke a hole in Mr. Wright's argument somehow, Apollo.
Oh, I will. And with his own technique, no less. If Mr. Atishon Wimperson couldn't swing the suitcase around, we'll just have to consider another way he could have used it as a murder weapon instead. I'm gonna turn this case on its head, Mr. Wright, just like you taught me.
You talk big, Mr. Justice, but do you have what it takes?
Well, this should be interesting.
Mr. Atishon Wimperson's testimony has been filled with one inaccuracy after another. First, he stated that Dr. Buff was in front of the bookshelves. Now he claims the doctor was sitting at his desk. So where was the victim really when he was killed? Also, where was his killer, and how was the murder weapon really used?
So, the important thing here is the position of the victim and the killer relative to each other.
Yes, Your Honor. If they were positioned in a certain way, it would be possible to use the suitcase as a weapon without lifting a finger.
Can't mean.
I would ask the court to recall the study's layout. It's quite distinctive, as you can see. Now, if Dr. Buff were sitting in a certain spot and his killer was at a certain other spot, the suitcase would become a weapon anyone could use.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Who is Dr. Buff's killer at the time of the crime?
Take that!
There? Oh, that's...
This should wrap things up nice and pretty for you, Mr. Wright. I would ask the court to recall the study's layout. But this time, instead of thinking in 2 dimensions, let's think in 3. Only then can we clearly see the killer's method at work.
Oh, that wasn't what I was thinking.
The killer didn't have to swing the suitcase.
How did he get it up there?
If you use gravity to his advantage, that is. That's right. It was the plaintiff, one Paul Atishon Wimperson, who used the suitcase. He pushed it from the 2nd floor and sent it hurling down into Dr. Buff, who was sitting at the coffee bar. The psychology book had been at the coffee bar, no doubt. Doctor must have set it down there after he finished reading it, or the like. But his blood got on it, which is why the killer thought to hide it in that mountain of books.
Objection!
That's quite an entertaining theory you have there, Mr. Justice. But there's no evidence that the murder took place at the coffee bar.
I'm not so sure about that, Mr. Wright. I'd say that evidence of the murder occurring at the coffee bar. The evidence does exist, and I'm going to show you.
You are?
This right here is proof that the murder took place at the coffee bar.
Take that!
This brown stain was determined to be coffee. What's more, it was still a bit damp when we saw it yesterday morning. One look at this book speaks volumes, I'm afraid, Mr. Wright. It tells us the doctor was having a cup of coffee at the coffee bar. That's when the suitcase came hurtling down, striking him on the head, causing both his blood and his coffee to spatter onto it. Well, Mr. Atishon Wimperson? What motive could I possibly have had to kill Dr. Buff? And there it is, that final excuse cornered killers are so fond of. Well, the doctor never returned your crystal to you, did he? Instead, he hid it in the cave ruins. Telling him that the Defiant Dragons were a dangerous bunch was a huge blunder. All it did was make him hide the orb. Your lie came back to bite you in the end. Even worse, the doctor saw the news report, so he knew the relic was the Founder's orb. Being the conscientious researcher he was, he knew he had to return it to its rightful place. And that meant keeping it out of your hands. You were so angry that he refused to return the relic to you that you killed him with your own hands. Isn't that right, Mr. Atishon Wimperson? That is...
Hold it!
Apollo, don't. Please don't accuse my client of murder.
What do you mean, don't accuse him? Why would you even say that, Mr. Wright? What I meant was, he's a promising politician with a bright future ahead of him. It's in our nation's best interest to avoid burdening him with the taint of scandal. Say what? Right, you better do something to change the current courtroom climate, or I'll be charged with murder. And you know what will happen to her if that happens. What's he talking about? Well, I can ponder that later. For now, Mr. Wright, you can't possibly believe that Mr. Arable is a killer. Are you really going to send an innocent man to prison? I thought you were better than that. Well, Mr. Wright, answer me! Mr. Wright? What in the world's going on here? If you won't say anything, then... Mr. Atishon Wimperson, the defense hereby accuses you of... Apollo, wait! Not you too, Athena! It's just, I wasn't sure whether I should say anything, but... During that last recess when I went to check on Mr. Wright, I overheard something I shouldn't have.
I trust Maya's unharmed?
Can't really say, but just remember, if I'm arrested or fail to obtain the treasure, there will be consequences. Consequences of the worst kind, if you catch my drift. Relax! All you have to do is ensure I get my hands on that relic. I must deliver it to my benefactor at all costs.
What do they want that relic for anyway?
Hee hee hee! It's something to do with an old legend. My patron seeks a great power said to be granted to whoever solves the secret. Maya? As in, my Faye? Yes, the boss's legendary former assistant. Miss Faye's being held hostage?
So it seems.
Why didn't you tell me as soon as you heard this?
Sorry, just Wright spotted me before I could slip away. And made me promise not to tell you. He said it would make things more difficult if he found out.
As if things weren't already hard enough. So, that's why Mr. Wright was acting so strange. I had no idea. This must have been excruciating for him. Excruciating for him. Think, Justice. There's got to be something you can do.
Mr. Justice, about that last statement of yours, I believe you were in the middle of accusing the plaintiff of murdering Dr. Buff. Would you care to continue?
I'm sorry, Apollo. I'm really, really sorry.
What's gotten into you two?
If I accuse that slime bag, I put Miss Faye's life in jeopardy. Hee. Seems you're finally caught on. I'm far too important to be accused of murder. After all, our nation's future rests squarely on my shoulders. Either I give up or... Once I present the crystal to my patron, my victory is assured. Then one day, I'll become president, and then king. I'll have every politician at my command. Now retract your accusation. Can't kowtow to him, but the defense would like to retract the previous accusation.
Apollo,
Derek?
I don't know what's going on here, but a lawyer should never look the way you do right now, with defeat and resignation written all over your face. A dragon never yields. Even when wounded, a dragon bites down hard and never lets go till its dying breath. It glares, it roars, and it latches its jaws firmly onto its prey till the bitter end. That's what lawyers do to get to the truth.
Derek, dragon never yields. He's right. It's all over if I give up now. Mr. Wright's hands are tied. It's up to me to do what must be done. He saved my neck so many times. Now, it's my turn to save his. Dirk, thanks for that wake-up call.
Now that's the face of a lawyer you've got there, son.
Where there's a will, there's a way. And I'm gonna find the way to save Miss Faye and see that justice is served. That scumbag is holding Miss Faye hostage to ensure he gets the orb for his patron. And it seems said patron believes in the orb's legend. Thing is, the founder did appear when the orb was exposed to fire, just as the legend said. If the legend is true, then we've already solved the riddle, right? The legend says the founder will bestow great spiritual power when she returns. But if that's true, it means we haven't solved the whole riddle yet. But how can that be? Are we missing something? Wait, maybe the part about the founder returning should be taken literally. But how would it be possible for a dead person to return to the world of the living? Oh, I know. There is a way for the dead to return. Spirit channeling. Of course you'd have to know what the founder looks like first. But the orb has revealed her face to us, so what if it's a sign that we should channel her? Given the facts, in order to solve the riddle and receive the founder's orb, given the facts, in order to solve the riddle and receive the founder's power, I'd need the ability of a medium to channel spirits is the final key to unlocking the orb's secret. That means Mr. Atishon Wimperson's patron will need one too. And once that slimy politician realizes that, he won't be able to lay a finger on Miss Faye. Everything is going to be okay, Mr. Wright. Alright. I'll be back.
Alright, so by going through into our mind palace and doing some good old-fashioned revisualization, we've managed to find a loophole where we can what's the word? Indict, I guess, Atishon of murder and also keep Maya alive. So, let's hope this works.
Because Mr. Politician Wimperson can't afford to harm a hair on Miss Faye's head. Mr. Atishon Wimperson, it seems you've chosen the wrong person to take hostage. What do you mean? Your patron seeks to resolve the orb's riddle, and thereby receive great spiritual power. However, only Maya Fey can truly give them what they really want. She can? What do you mean, only Maya Fey? Think about what the return of the Founder really means. We should have considered it more literally. After all, the orb was made in the Kingdom of Crane, the birthplace of spirit mediums.
Ah, I think I see now. You need to know what the deceased looks like in order to channel them. But in Koreanism, depicting the face of the Founder is taboo. However, her true face was hidden in the orb. So maybe the orb is telling us to try channeling the Founder.
Exactly. Through a spirit medium, the Founder can quite literally return. And if the legend is true, the Founder just might bestow spiritual power on someone when she does.
It's like when Pearls imbued my Megatama with spiritual power. If a human could be imbued with such power in a similar manner,
It is said the Founder possesses immense spiritual power. Such a great feat would not necessarily be beyond her. Wait a second. The legend is true.
Do you understand now, Mr. Atishon Wimperson? You are holding hostage the final key to unlocking the orb's secret. And if anything were to happen to her, the riddle will remain unsolved forever. There's always Pearl Fey. I could simply ask her to help. If she wants money, I have plenty to offer. She's not the kind of person to be tempted by material gain, and she certainly wouldn't help you if anything were to happen to your cousin. Or maybe you'd like to go ask the Queen of Korean and channel the Founder for you.
he could, but he'd probably get executed for requesting such a thing.
It's over. Now confess! You killed Dr. Buff, didn't you? It wasn't supposed to end this way.
Mr. Atishon Wimperson, are you admitting to committing the crime?
You're my lawyer, right? Do something.
It's true that I'm your lawyer, and as such, it's my job to defend you. However, defending my client isn't the only duty a lawyer has. There's something else that's equally as important, and that is finding the truth.
What?
Mr. Atishon Wimperson, you have sought to twist the truth in the dirtiest of ways. I was complicit in your hostage-taking, but in a way, I was being held hostage too. Even so, there's still hope for me to make things right, and I owe it all to you, Apollo.
Mr. Wright?
I can't allow a murderer to walk away scot-free. Therefore, Mr. Atishon Wimperson, I must resign as your attorney.
No! Does this mean I'm under arrest? No! Well, I have nothing to confess. What? I said I have nothing to confess. I don't and I won't, especially not to a plebeian like you. This guy doesn't know where to give up. Besides, there's no truth to all these allegations. I mean, look at the suitcase. You won't find a single pin of mine on it. All that means is you wiped them off, taking care to only leave Mr. Arables. Hee hee. As many a great politician has said before me, no comment.
In that case, try switching things up, Apollo. Look at the situation from a different angle. Is there really nothing that points to the suitcase being dropped from above?
Evidence that points to the suitcase being dropped from the second floor.
If the killer pushed the suitcase from the second floor hallway over the coffee bar, that would place him right around here.
Ah, maybe. Just maybe.
Thought of something, Apollo?
I believe this piece of evidence to be connected to the dropping of the suitcase.
Take that!
That appears to be a statement, but how is that related to this case?
On the night of the murder, Your Honor, Miss Army Buff physically left her room. That's when she saw the doctor burning the orb and subsequently passed out, right above the coffee bar. But with her there in her wheelchair, the killer wouldn't have been able to drop the suitcase down onto the doctor. Good point. However, according to Sarge, she woke up just as someone was trying to move her in her wheelchair. Someone was pushing my wheelchair! What? I was so scared I made a hasty retreat as fast as my wheels could take me. She must have been in the killer's way and had to be moved. Isn't that right, Mr. Atishon Wimperson?
And if the killer had pushed the wheelchair with his bare hands, we may yet find the conclusive evidence we need.
Exactly. Fortunately for us, that evidence slipped right through the killer's fingers. If only he'd been able to hold on to it just a little tighter. But now, he is neither able to discard nor alter it.
Honestly, that piece of evidence wasn't even supposed to be here in this courtroom today. And yet, it looks like sometimes things do get better.
But this wasn't supposed to happen. No? Well, too bad. Because the evidence that sped away from you that night has come back to haunt you, right here at this very trial. Your Honor, the defense's final piece of evidence is... The defense's final piece of evidence is on... this person.
Take that!
That's... Well, on the night of the murder, Sarge passed out, only to come to and find that someone was pushing her wheelchair. That's when she fled back into her room.
She didn't physically see a single soul after that. Not until Athena drew her out through that therapy session, that is.
While the killer was able to wipe the prints on the suitcase off, the same can't be said for the prints that got away. My fellow Koreans. Well, Mr. Paul Atishon Wimperson, try to explain your way out of this one. The podium is all yours. Politician, savior of Korean. I'm not a crook. My political career can't end like this. I'm destined for great things. Something's wrong. This isn't real. It's a dream. This is... what? Wait, really? Whoa, no way! Banzai! 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 Wait, what? No, please. Wait! Don't go! No, no, please! Will! Grandpa!
Mr. Atishon Wimperson, are you alright? Bailiff, get him to the first aid station on the double. Well, this was yet another unexpected turn of events. In light of everything that's been revealed, it seems the relic is indeed the Founder's orb. And it seems Mr. Paul Atishon Wimperson can be considered a suspect in Dr. Buff's murder.
Apollo, I want to thank you for everything. Thanks to you, I didn't have to keep bending the truth. I don't know what I would have done without you.
Don't mention it.
You were amazing today, Apollo.
Well, I couldn't have done it without Derek.
A dragon never yields. Even when wounded, a dragon bites down hard and never lets go till its dying breath. It glares, it roars, and it latches its jaws firmly onto its prey until the bitter end. That's what lawyers do to get to the truth.
A dragon never yields. Every lawyer should take that to heart.
As it seems both sides have no further objections, would Dirk Satbody please take the stand? This court awards the orb to the Defiant Dragons per the stated transfer agreement. Should the Kingdom of Crane claim ownership, the matter may have to be deliberated in court all over again. I just hope, or should I say pray, that I'm not the judge presiding over that one. Ha! Ha 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 ha! Indeed! A trial like that might spark an international incident. Still, there are bigger and more momentous things astir in the air.
The revolution. Derek's really serious about this.
This court is adjourned.
May 17th, District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3.
Nice work, son. We've finally broken through the last obstacle on the road to revolution.
Revolution? Just doesn't seem real.
Yes, well, to think you actually defeated the Fighting Phoenix. All I can say is, that's my boy! Ha!
Well, Mr. Wright did have his hands tied. Who knows if I'd have won of it if he'd been able to fight me head on.
I see it more like you saved Mr. Wright.
Saved him?
Yeah, remember what he said? He didn't have to bend the truth anymore, and it was all thanks to you.
I don't know about that. Still, I guess it is kind of nice to be appreciated.
Mr. Dirk, now that the Holy Mother's face has been revealed, are you going to have a spirit medium try channeling her? I, for one, would love to see the return of the legendary founder.
Yeah, just think about it. Being able to speak to someone right out of the history books.
Unfortunately, it's not that easy.
What? Why?
A face isn't enough. You also need the true name of the one you are attempting to channel.
Oh, right. Pearl mentioned something like that.
And the founder's true name is only known to the priestess who has been crowned queen. In short, the only living person who knows it is the current queen of Karain, Garan.
Oh, so without her help, we won't be seeing the founder anytime soon.
Tisk, that's no fun.
So, Dirk, what will you do now?
First, I'll start by tracing the route by which the orb came into Dr. Buff's hands.
Since we now know it was Paul Atishon that asked the doctor to study it, isn't he the one who stole it?
No, a political nobody like him couldn't get anywhere near the orb, let alone steal it. He must have had inside help. My money is on someone connected to the royal family.
Oh, right. You said something to that effect back in the cave.
Whoever it may be, we need to expose their dirty scheme to the light of day.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Wright has plenty of information, courtesy of his dirty client. He might be able to shed some light on this. Private Justice? That was fine work you did at the trial today. You did your sergeant proud. Back at you, Sarge. It took real courage to leave your room like that.
It's all thanks to you and Coal Woman Sachs. With my siege defense over, I can finally sally forth.
But the battle's only just begun. One for me and me alone to fight.
To lose your mother and then your father. What a terrible thing to endure.
Yeah, and being wheelchair-bound doesn't help.
Private Justice, I've been thinking. It's about time I stood on my own 2 feet. After all, I no longer have Papa to coddle me.
I'm afraid I don't follow.
Take a good look, soldier. This is one small step for man, and one giant leap for me.
Hold my drone for me, would you, Private Justice?
Yes, sir.
What is she up to? Whoa. She's standing?
What's this? Sarge, you mean your legs... They're...
Doctor told me I was ready to walk again months ago, but if I admitted I could walk, I knew I'd have to leave the house. So I faked it. Makes sense, but I kept pretending I couldn't walk. But I know Papa is watching over me now, and I'd hate to disappoint him. So, from this day forth, I'm going to march forward on my own 2 feet. What a brave kid trying to move forward like this. But it must be so hard this soon after her father's death.
Don't you ever stop. You just keep on walking, comrade. Stay brave, because there will be days when you'll want to stop. But I have faith you'll find a way to muster the strength to push through them.
Yeah, you can do it. Hey, Daddy's back! Mr. Wright! What's that look on his face for? Oh, Apollo. Is everything alright with Miss Faye?
She's safe. For now.
Well then, we better go save her, quick. Where is she anyway?
I'm afraid I have some bad news.
Huh?
Maya's not here in the States. She's still in Korean. And she's still being held hostage by the mastermind behind this whole thing.
The mastermind?
That's right. Paul Atishon Wimperson was nothing more than a pawn. Maya's true abductor is in the kingdom of Korea.
What? I don't understand, Mr. Wright. What in the world is going on over there? But as shocking as that news was, it was only the beginning. The beginning of something big. Big enough to shake Korea to its very core. Revolution. I was being swept up in a mighty wave that nothing could stop. Of course, at the time, I had no idea what the days ahead had in store for us. To be continued.